Hey guys, Tonic here. Today we are going to be talking about 5 mistakes that new and returning players should avoid making in Fallout 76. These are some mistakes that I made when I started playing, and some of these are mistakes I still see new players making to this day. So with that being said, let's get right into it. First up, let's talk about stash box management. Now this is something that you'll be dealing with throughout the entire game, but I often see new players really struggling with this. So in Fallout 76 you have a stash box. You can store your items in here and it's a safe storage that you can access at any stash box around the map. But this does have a weight limit. Currently you can store up to 1,200 pounds. But still, this can be surprisingly easy to fill up. It's something that you'll most likely run into at some point. And I often see newer players make a few mistakes that fill this up faster. So first, watch out for storing certain types of ammo. Things like missiles, mini nukes, and even fusion cores can really add up. For example, each missile weighs 2 pounds, and if you don't use weapons that take that ammo, and you just store it whenever you get it, you could easily lose out on a ton of stash space. Also, when storing weapons, it's a great idea to take off the mods for that weapon if you don't plan on using it soon. Mods can add a lot of weight to weapons. For example, here's a fully modded handmade rifle, and it weighs 17 pounds. But if you go through and remove all of the mods, you can reduce the weight. After taking all of the mods off this weapon, it now only weighs about 9 pounds. So just from doing that, I saved a few pounds with this weapon, and if you do this to every weapon in your stash box that you don't use a lot, you could save a ton of space. Lastly, always scrap your junk, especially before stashing it. This is a mistake that I made when I started out. I would just take all the junk I collected and stash it for the resources, but junk can get pretty heavy, and once you break it down it's much lighter. So just from grabbing those weights and objects in the fire station, my weight was at 770 pounds. And after going to a workbench and scrapping all of the junk, my weight went down to 253. So always be sure to break junk items down. It can save you a ton of carry weight or stash space. Next up, let's talk about public teams. When you are playing, you might see this pop up on your screen. Someone has created a team, and you can join if you'd like. Public teams are just teams that anyone can start and anyone can join. Now, I've seen lots of new players avoid joining these teams, and I get it, joining a random team of people that are usually at a much higher level than you can be intimidating, but I do highly recommend joining these teams. Most players do not join these public teams to socialize. Usually when you are joining a team, you will notice that everyone in the group is all spread out across the map doing their own thing. That's because they join public teams for the benefits. Public teams have a few benefits, most importantly the stats boost. So an expeditions team will give you extra XP for completing an expedition, roleplay teams give extra charisma, events will give you bonus XP for completing events, exploration is endurance, then we have casual teams, and this will give extra intelligence, and this is the most common public team that you will see. Most players join this for that boost. The more intelligence you have, the more XP you gain overall, so this is a great one for leveling up faster. But lastly we have daily ops, and this gives bonus XP for completing daily ops. The only two that I would avoid as a new player are the daily ops and expedition groups, just because when people start these groups they are expecting to run a daily op or expedition, but every other one you can join and nothing will be expected of you. Also, the stats boost is not the only benefit. There are a few more things like free fast travel to everyone in the group in their camps. You also get some caps for any quests your teammates complete. And lastly, if you are nearby a teammate, maybe during an event or something, there is shared XP with groups, so you will get some extra XP from that. Up next, let's quickly talk about character builds. Another mistake I see tons of new players make is that they instantly try to start making an endgame character build right away. When you watch videos or go to events, you might see other players putting out super high damage and one-shotting enemies and all of that, but honestly don't worry about maxing out your build right away. Just experiment at the lower levels, find what weapons you like to use, find how you like to play, level up a bit and go from there. Don't worry about picking the right stuff every time you level up, because starting at level 25, you can start using loadout machines. You can find these at train stations around the map, and here you can rearrange your stats and perk cards anytime you want. You can even save different loadouts if you want, so again, don't worry too much about perfecting your build in the early game, because you can always change everything later on. Another huge mistake I see new players make is spending tons of caps on ammo. When I started out, I made this mistake. I spent so much on ammo, and I regret it. So first, never buy ammo from NPC vendors, or these ammo vending machines. The prices are really high, and they never have a lot. Just don't buy ammo from these. Instead, if you want to buy ammo, go check player vendors. Sometimes you can find ammo for extremely cheap in player vendors. Most players sell basic ammo for 1 cap per round, and sometimes you can find vendors that have thousands of rounds, so you can save a lot of caps and you can get tons of ammo. But honestly, I would recommend learning how to craft ammo early on. Buying ammo from player vendors is cheap, it's easy, and I still do it sometimes, but crafting ammo is great because with just a bit of time, you can craft a ton for yourself, and you can even sell it easily to make some caps. For most basic ammo, all you need is steel, lead, and gunpowder. All of this is pretty easy to get. One thing I always look for are these hanging tin cans. These are great for crafting ammo. Every one you collect will give you a good amount of lead and steel. Then all you need is gunpowder. And gunpowder again can be pretty easy to get. You can usually find some randomly on enemies and collect it over time, or you can craft that as well. You just need cloth and acid. Cloth is really easy to get, but acid is the trickiest out of all of these resources. A few junk items have it, some enemies will drop it, or you can set up extractors for it. When crafting ammo, I highly recommend adding these perk cards if you have them. Super Duper is the first. This will give you a chance to craft double the item, and if you can use Ammo Factory, this will increase how much you get. But once you have all 3 ingredients, just head to a tinkerer's workbench and start crafting your ammo. If you spend some time getting lots of resources, you can craft thousands of rounds. It may seem a bit complicated, but over time you will learn how to get these resources fast, and with just a few minutes of resource farming, you can craft tons of ammo and be set for days. This last mistake is something I see pretty often, and it's a mistake I just recently made. So in Fallout 76, when you build a camp, other players can visit that camp, you can sell things in your vendor, and some people just stop by to check it out, and sometimes we even get events like the recent Trick or Treat event, where players can come and trick or treat at your camp to get limited time rewards. Now, I had spent a ton of time building a Halloween camp. I was really excited for players to stop by and check it out during the event, but no one came on the first day. And on the second day I hopped on, and again I had no visitors. I was starting to think that maybe I just built in a weird spot and no one wanted to travel that far. I didn't know what was going on, but after thinking about it, I noticed that my public map icon was off. I turned this off while building it, and I forgot to turn it back on, so always remember to have this on if you are planning on selling things or want visitors to your camp. I still make this mistake sometimes, and I have friends that have also made this mistake recently. It's a smaller mistake compared to the last few, but it is something I see often. And that just about covers everything, so that is pretty much going to be it for this video. If you have any other mistakes that new players should avoid making, please leave them down in the comments below. It could really help someone out. But again, that is pretty much going to be it for this one, so I would like to say thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. And as always, I'd like to give a massive thank you to all of the channel members: Anton Joe 7, Joe Pervincente, King Kittens, Turkey Maker, Ubi Ubi, Esdeath93, Terry Lockridge, Radcon, Ice Cream Manny, Jays the Aussie, I Am Mr. Me Not You, Dr. Calamari, Argent Deer, Shaky Hands Workshop, Leo the Collector Plays, Loopy, Adam Steinson, Robert Kennard, CRM114, Theodore, Slappy Sauce, Omniprotus, Victrix, Axel, Kevin W, Anna S, Fallout McFly, Network Gate, Gold T Lanthar, Captain Awesome, Heather Henderson, Patrick Ruda, 20th the Icefire, Bowser Double Frank, Christy Mellon Schwitz. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys, and have a great day.